Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm VanArendonk Baugh. This is To Write and Have Written, and tonight we are talking about Evernote, which is your external brain that will make all the things easier. But first, let me help make things easier by taking down this music. We are not going to actually spend the night in the tavern. I'm sorry. Let me take that down. There we go. Okay. All right. How are you guys? Hey, Joe. Thanks for stopping by. We have a Kate as well. Excellent. Awesome. And in theory, yes, I have actual real for sure Evernote demos to do today. Great. Yeah, and I'm sorry, I got some weird flashing going on my screen, so let me try to stop that before it's very... And there's a Grace too. Hooray. All right. Okay, so welcome. I know if it said for a while I was going to do this topic and then it got put off, but we're actually doing it tonight. So please ask plenty of questions. And and if you do not have an Evernote account and would like to play with one as we talk tonight, then feel free to hop over and grab one, evernote.com. And there's a free tier that you can get started with, and that might be sufficient for your needs. I'm going to show you some advanced features that are available on the pay tiers, but if you don't need that, then save your money. So let's get in and play with this. So what Evernote is, let's start with that because it's not immediately obvious to everyone. No, actually, let's start with something else first. I actually have notes for myself. So I just, first of all, this is September. It's a pun. Get it? Okay. So Twitch is running a subscription promo. And so I'm just going to throw out, I don't think I make it too big a deal on the stream about like, hey, you could subscribe. But if you're going to ever subscribe, September is a good month to do it because all the subscriptions are discounted. But even better than discounted is free. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you get one free subscription. And I would love if you would throw it my way. So that's it. And if that's not feasible for you, then hang out anyway. It's fine. Just, if you find this useful, that would be helpful to me. And next week, Tuesday? Yes, next Tuesday is my big cover reveal day for Kin and Kind. So just a fair warning, you will see that on the stream next week because that's when that's going everywhere. And that's all the stuff I think I made notes about or remember at this time. So now we're going to talk about Evernote. See, this is why I have Evernote, is to keep my brain organized. Okay, so what Evernote is, and there are competitors. OneNote is Microsoft's version. There are others out there. But Evernote, I think, is my personal favorite. And it is just a kind of combination personal encyclopedia, personal wiki, to-do list, it's just everything. And so you can use it in a very, very narrow way, or you can use it in an incredibly broad way. Evernote pretty much runs my life. So I've been using it at this point for years and years. I have a ridiculous amount of material in Evernote. Things I have in Evernote are things like the paint colors that are on my wall in this office, so that if I ever need to replace them or match them, I can just have that code and be ready to go. Personal ID that is important. So, my passport, my driver's license, things that I really need to have backup copies of. Hey, Bridger. Hey, Kyle. Thanks for stopping by. Medical records for my dogs, medical records for myself, my vaccine card is in Evernote, all of these things, silly stuff that, I just want to throw in some vacation pictures, really important stuff like, oh, here's a PDF of this study on this particular drug that I want to save. I'm going to drop that thing into Evernote where it becomes instantly searchable. So I can just access it without having to remember exactly where I put it or how I'm remembering exactly what I named that particular note. I can do a search for the drug name and it will bring up everything I ever put in there, all of these kinds of things. Instantly searchable is one of my favorite features that we are going to spend some time on later. But it's one of the reasons that I love, love, love Evernote for research, because I will go to a museum in Denmark or a special exhibit, coming through town where I live or something. And I will go through and I will take pictures of every freaking thing and all the explanatory signs. And then later, when I want to, not only do I have all the photos, but all of those signs are searchable. So I can do a search for Viking Horde and it will pull up everything that was listed there. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. So we're going to play with this a little bit. So I have made a sample notebook because not all of my stuff is, really able to go out on the internet for reasons. So I have here just a sample thing that I've thrown together. So, so these are completely random and they're not going to be cohesive, and that's okay. This is not like the demo of the perfect notebook. This is stuff I just threw together. And as you can see, this is actually stuff I threw together for a demo quite some time ago, and I'm just reusing and updating this notebook. So, so just to start, I just have a cartoon here that I saved off. Somebody had posted on a Facebook, and it's got some chat and stuff going on here. This cartoon was actually the inspiration for my White Christmas story, which, came out a few years ago, came out on audio drama last year and won an award last month. So yay. But as you can see, it's just a bunch of puns that I put into Evernote and eventually let come together into a story, right? So that is, so it's just, you can just throw everything in here. It doesn't matter if it's neat. So there are a couple of ways you can do this. Let me jump over and actually, back up and use my notes rather than just getting excited and telling you all the things about it once. So I mentioned that you could hop over and grab a free account if you wanted to play with that here. If you do decide that you want a pay version of it right now during, I think it runs through the end of the month, but don't quote me. They're actually doing a 40% off sale on the personal tier. Personal tier is really, really close to the tier I have. I have an old legacy program that they don't offer anymore, but it's roughly equivalent to the personal tier. Personal tier just has a few more features that I haven't quite decided if I want to upgrade to or not. So, but anyway, so here's the thing. Evernote has a free version. The pay version is not cheap. I think the personal tier, when it's not on sale, is $60 or $70 a year. So it's 40% off right now. So that would be obviously the better way to go. But 60 or 70 bucks is a reasonable investment. At the end of our time here tonight, you can decide if that is a worthwhile investment to you. But I would say is, especially if you're using this for business purposes, as I very obviously am, it may be tax deductible. Please check with your tax advisor because that's not me. But I absolutely use this for both my businesses and my entire personal life. So, yeah. So all of my, as you can see here, I have a folder that's just marked online presence, and it has a lot of things in there, including streaming topics, and that's where we are going here tonight. Here is tonight's quick sneak peek of where we're going, right? So everything that I need to keep track of and I want to be able to access later is going to go into Evernote. It is because its organization system is so very flexible. You can really use it to track a lot of different things, and you don't have to have the perfect organization system. So me personally, I'm the person who wants a really solid system. I want all of my notes to fit neatly into individual notebooks. I want all of my notebooks to fit neatly into individual stacks. I don't want blur between them. That's just the way my, hyperactive little brain works. So that's great if you want to do that, because we have notes that go into notebooks and the notebooks that go into stacks of notebooks. And it's very much like, like a Windows file system, right? You got documents inside of folders, inside of other folders, inside of other folders. If you are not, if that kind of linear thinker, you don't want that tree structure. Bridger says, I aspire to be that organized. Yeah. I don't know that I am that organized, but I'd like to think that I am. So that's the way my brain works. If that's not you, great. Evernote has an incredibly robust tag system, which means I can tag any notes that I want. So let's say I'm going to come down here. Now, we'll get into this later, but I can mark up photos and images and things later. But let's just say I'm going to tag this, and let's say this is a mem. You know what? Let's just pretend it's that, you know, two women screaming at the cat. You know, it's that mem there, and it's got something really funny on it. So I'm just going to tag it humor, and I can, you know, also let's edge on political. I'm going to say it's a coronavirus joke. Okay, there we go. So I can do those, and then if I come up and I search, okay, so I'm actually just going to search within this notebook only. I've got sample notebook up, and I can do a search for humor. Sorry. We'll see, it may come up there. Okay, yep, it is going to pull up that. Okay, let's go back here. And I can go in and filter. So that pulled from all notebooks. And if I come in and just this notebook, and I'm going to filter for humor. And so then it's just going to pull up that one tag that has humor in it. Organization catastrophe. This sounds like a great tool to reverse that trend. It's a very, very flexible system, so you can definitely modify it as you go, which is what I've done a lot of. I personally, I'm trying to demonstrate tags here, but I'm not a big tag user. I will tag things within a notebook so I can have tiny little niche subcategories. It's just the way I like to do it. There are people who don't use notebooks or stacks, and they just do everything with a tag system, because you can make this tag system really, really powerful. And that's just not the way I do it, so I'm probably not the best person to demonstrate that. But the good news is there's a huge community online that will happily give you 9,000 tutorials on the way to customize to this. Grace asked about if it's a lot of work to set up. It's really not. Actually, let's just play with it right now. Because what you're looking at here is more than 10 years of accumulated stuff. So that is not a project that you need to create in a weekend, okay? So let's create a new, you know what? I'm going to make a new, hold on. Is this showing? Oh, shoot, the menus don't show for you guys in OBS. Let me see. I'm actually opening a menu right now and it's not showing. Let me play with it a second and see if I can make it show you a menu. I'm so sorry. Sometimes OBS does not like to share all the options. Okay, well, I've gone to File and I've clicked New Notebook. So we're going to see a new notebook, all right? And I'm going to say, this is for Grace. Grace's Fun Things. There we go. And it is probably going to drop this in alphabetically. I'm going to bring it down, drag it down here, and put it, oops, hold on. Put this stuff up here. So Grace's Fun Things, I'm going to drop this inside of the sample notebook. Maybe. Is that going to show for you guys? All right, so I'm going to try to make this show. I'm right-clicking here. I'm so sorry. I thought this would be a little bit easier to see. And right-clicking here, and I'm clicking Add to Stack. New stack. And I'm going to call this Sample. Which hopefully you guys will get to see that. All right, so yes, there we go. So Grace's Fun Things is in the sample stack, and I'm going to also put the sample notebook in that stack as well. So now I've got a new notebook, and you don't have to put things in stacks. I'm doing this just for me to keep it a little more organized on the screen. You can totally just wing it when you start. So now I have here a notebook full of Grace's Fun Things. Grace, I was lurking on social media, and these are the things I found. Grace made naan. Bridger posted a naan recipe. Let's go here. All right, so I'm going to say favorite naan recipe. Okay, and I can. So it's now it's in this notebook. If I want to tag it, recipes, I can. But it's whatever you want to do. as far as what system works for you. I like to put things in individual notebooks because I've already categorized them in my head. If you're very, very freeform, that tag system is going to be all over it. And what you can do is start just by tagging things. And then when you feel like, oh, I've got 30 things with the same tag, that probably could be its own notebook, then just drag them all into a notebook and there you go. Like you don't have to have the perfect system set up from the start. And I know that's a real it can feel like there's a lot of pressure, like if you sit down to make a bullet journal and there's so much pressure to make the perfect, beautiful bullet journal, and more power to the Bujo people. That's not me, but I've seen some amazing things. But honestly, that's part of the reason is I can't predict a year out what I want my system to look like, for November, and so I just get mad, and so I don't do it at all. Which is not really an adult, mature way to handle it, but it's the way I'm handling it. So I've got Evernote instead. So, yes. All right. Yes. So Bridger says so much pressure. Yes. There we go. Yeah. So, okay. So we're going to come over here. Now you can see I've got, to-do lists. I can, and we've just got lots of different options. That menu showing for you guys? It is. Hooray. Okay. So if I'm going to start a to-do list, I can make this myself, or I'll just click, their to-do list, and it autofills this part in for me. I love, love, love that it starts with start a to-do list and it's already checked. Thank you, Evernote, for giving me success right off the bat. But I can, do whatever I want, new list, and I can make this, a checklist on my own and keep going. Everything has keyboard shortcuts, or you can come up here and, turn things into checklists with, is it showing on the screen? Yep, up there. So if I want to make a to-do list, let's say for launching a book, or I'm going to do a podcast interview, and I've got, but anything that I'm going to have a standard checklist of items that I'm going to need to repeat in the future when I launch my next book, or when I do an interview with somebody else, or, something. I can make this to-do list, and then, and I'm hoping this shows for you guys, it is not, okay, sorry, but there is a menu here at the top right that I can drop in, and I can save as a template. And then I can just pull open that to-do list every time I need it. I don't have to create it from scratch. I've just got it saved to go to work on. So yeah. So that's an option. And then, again, you can just, the organizational system is so flexible. Don't let it bully you. Do not let it intimidate you. You can make it do whatever you want. And I would say if you don't quite know what you want, just start by tagging things. And, by the time you have 15, notes tagged recipe, you're like, oh, maybe I should make a recipes notebook, which I have, as you can see. And the non-recipe is in it now because I heard it worked out. Okay. But then you have things like, let me go down here. If I come down to my writing folder and I've got something that says miscellaneous research. Okay, when I say miscellaneous research, I'm not kidding. This is anything that crosses my field of vision that I think, ooh, that's cool. I want to hang on to that for the future. I may have absolutely no freaking clue where it will come in handy in the future. I may never use it in a story. I may build an entire story around it. Who knows? But this is where I dump all of this stuff. And again, it becomes searchable regardless of the format I put it in. So, so like here, this one, please open. There we go. This is the progression of wood blocks and during the peak printmaking era, and how you can track. There are, I think, 34, 42, I don't know, something stages of woodblock decay, so you can learn when a print was made and where, by which pieces are breaking off and how they're repairing them. And it's fascinating, and it's got so much in there about chemistry and identifying the inks and identifying the progression. So this is all in a PDF here, and so you have so you can see like here the line is solid, and here there's a little break in the line here. and then we can just go through all of these pieces. And I'm like, oh, great. So when I need to do my art heist novel, I've got this stuff to pull on because I've saved it from 6 years ago or whatever. No, this was a course I took this summer and all of those kinds of things. So, oh yes, Grace says I could use it to sort out my browser bookmarks, which currently form a black hole that I never look at again. Yes, 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 yes. And I want to share one of my favorite features, which I don't know if it will show easily on the screen. So I will just tell you about it. There's a extension for Chrome called the Evernote Web Clipper. So it just sits up in the top of my Chrome bar, and then when I come across something on the interwebs and I go, oh, that is so cool, I click that Evernote Web Clipper, and it grabs that page and drops it into an Evernote for me, and I can select if I want it to go in a particular notebook or give it particular tabs, or I can just throw it in and sort it out later, which I never do because later never actually happens, and it only takes me about 5 seconds to do it right there, so I just do it then. So you may be a better person than me, but that's it. And then, so it doesn't matter where I'm browsing, I can just grab that, slot it into a folder, and it's there, it's saved, and I don't have to, copy and paste. I don't have to do any of those things. So it is fantastic. So that's and a Chrome extension. I'm sure it's available in other things as well. I just only ever use it in Chrome. And again, so if I'm browsing a museum site or flipping through, it's a really cool news story with some investigative reporting, or there's a really fascinating National Geographic article, or pick whatever, I can just immediately drop that into the correct location. So, and then when I am sitting somewhere else thinking, I could swear there's something about that wood block being a different color originally than how people think of it. I'm sure that I read that somewhere. I'm just going to type Fuji into Evernote into my search bar, and it's going to grab this particular PDF and be like, oh yeah, these are totally different colors, and this is how it was done, and we can track this because of the arsenic in the greens, and all of those sorts of things. So, okay. Does that make sense with the web clipping and the tagging and the notebooks and the things? So, just to be clear, your notes are where you put your individual data. Notes come in, oh my gosh, I think like 9 different varieties. Like you can make checklists, you can have photo notes, you can have just a text note. You can drop any number of files into a text note. So you can have I think I've got some here in my sampler. Let me find that for you. Yeah, so here's one with, this is baby Penny. Isn't she cute? Okay. And I've marked up the image a little bit just because that's the thing you can. But here's a video file that if I wanted to drop into this note, I can have photos, text, and video file all together. So if that's something I need for reference, this is how papyrus is made. Here's some text notes and here's a video. Boom, it's all together, right? You could do that. You could, you can drop in. I have my Gen Con author table project list has an Excel sheet dropped in there, so everything is in one place. All sorts of things. You can have audio notes. So you're driving and you think of something brilliant, so you hit the audio note button on your phone and you just speak it out as you drive, and Evernote's got that all recorded for you. You don't have to remember to write it down when you come to, a safe place to stop. Oh, good. Yes, thanks, Grace. You found the Chrome extension, the Evernote Web Clipper. Yes. So I can drop in lots of images. There are lots and lots of things you can do. There's also a feature, and this is, I'm going to be honest, this is not one I'm using at the moment. This is the new stuff that they just rolled out. And hold on, where did I leave it? Oh, I know where it is. Okay. You actually have tasks that you can add to your notes as well. So you can have yours as your standard task list, or you can put tasks with individual notes. So this is one where I've already checked this off. I had a due date for this task, and I just attached it to this stream notes as a demo. It's not actually a task for tonight. But then you get this nifty little, oh shoot, it's not showing. Let me see if I can drag this over. There we go. We get this nifty little purple indicator up here at the top right that shows how many tasks I have and how many were done and that sort of thing. And then I can check stuff off and just use it as a regular task list, but assigned specifically to individual things. So rather than pulling out, oh no, here's my task list with 27 things to do, cue overwhelm, I can pull out, I'm working on this project right now. Here's my task list for this project. It has 3 things on it. I've now checked 2 of them off. I rock. Okay, kind of thing. Kate, you can use this on a laptop. It's just that if you want it to be portable, it helps if you have a smartphone. So that will speed this. And actually, let me mention that as well. One of the primary limitations of the free tier of Evernote is that you can sync it only between 2 devices. So that would be like 1 computer and a smartphone, or 2 computers, or a computer and a tablet, or whatever you want to do. And then the paid tiers, you can sync between infinite devices. So, if you have an office computer, a home computer, and a smartphone, or, whatever you want to do. And this is great because it means I can, I will take my phone into the museum or wherever it is I'm doing research, snap all the photos, and then it's on my computer when I want it, and I don't have to check back and forth with things. Evernote for Web does not count as a device to my memory. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But Evernote for Web, meaning you're using it within your browser, I don't think counts as a device. I think that's just using it within your browser. So device would be something where you have the app installed, which I do on this computer, which is what you're looking at right now. So this is where, so let me back up a little bit. There's actually some research out there, which I'm not going to pretend to quote because I don't remember well enough right now, but we know that the act of writing things down really frees up, I'm going to call it brain productivity. We're not using our RAM to try to remember things. We're using our RAM to get things done. So, if I'm trying to remember my to-do list, I'm actually going to have a harder time getting it done because part of my working resources are taken up with remember this, remember this, remember this. So just writing things down, 1, feels really freeing. 2, actually makes you more productive. And so this is what I love about Evernote is I can just brain dump everything. Did I have a weird idea in the shower for a story? Goes into Evernote. Good, done. I don't have to remember anymore. Okay. Do I have, oh my gosh, I need to make sure that I double check on ordering that stuff for the driveway because it's starting to get really rutted and I need to get that taken care of. Boom. This is the product I need. I'll keep it in Evernote so I don't have to try to look it up again later. That sort of thing. Yes, Grace, you can delete old devices just like, pretty much any reputable software would allow you to do. I can be like, hey, I'm going to uninstall from this and reinstall over here. And I just have 2 that are active at one time with that free tier. Yes. The web version, I don't like the web version as well as I like the app. It's not as smooth. It will do everything. It's just a little bit less fluid. It's a little bit clunkier in my opinion. However, free is good. So I would say try it. And then, you can always upgrade if you like it. You can at least play with things and start getting stuff into the system that way. But yeah, the web just doesn't flow quite as smooth. And I will be very, very honest. They did a massive app rebuild within the past year. And there was some time when it was really not good. Only years of investment kept me from having a massive tantrum, but it got better because they literally rebuilt the Windows app from the ground up. So there was it wasn't just we polished some things. It was a complete code rewrite, and it got better, and now it's fine again. So meaning, if you tried it at, say, fall of 2020 or something, first of all, everything looked bad in the fall of 2020, but if you tried it and it was very awkward, that was in the middle of that. So go ahead and try it again. So because now it's working fine, and it was not. There was a rough patch. I'll just be really honest. There was a rough patch. So anyway, you can, if you're using a tier that provides that task option, you can filter, show me all notes with unfinished tasks, or those kind of things. You also have let me back up. With that, you can integrate with, say, if you have a Google Calendar that has all of your events on it, and you want to associate a particular note and these tasks and this data for a particular event on your calendar, you can do all of that. Okay, so it's obviously really handy for business people. May not be quite so much for our creative side, but you never know. It could work. So, all right. So let's hop over. I've got this nifty home page, and I can set up a lot of different things here. Scratchpad, this is where I could just start typing a quick note and then later decide what to do with it. Recent notes, recently captured stuff. Pinned note is really handy. I have unpinned it for tonight because my pinned note has data that I don't necessarily want to be streaming live across the internet. But anything that I need to reference frequently, I can do that. You can also pin a filtered search here on your home page. So if you have a tag that is, I'm just going to say, editing clients. Okay, and so so rather than searching for which editing clients have open notes or open tasks at this time, it's going to auto filter every time I open Evernote, and it'll just be a constant reminder there, whatever you want to do. But you can customize it here. Let me drag this over so you can see. There we go. So here on the right, you can see, you can get that calendar, the filtered notes, all kinds of things going on there. So, okay. Get back in there. Okay. You can also customize this homepage, aesthetically. So if you want particular colors or particular background image, you want to rearrange all those notes or anything like that, those are all going to be, something that you can make work however you want. I'm going to throw a link into the chat. This is an article that's honestly a bit business easy. So if that's not your speed, then don't worry about it. But it has, some concepts for organizing and setting up this way. And if that's a system that works for you, great. And if that's not the system that works for you, fantastic. Do something else, because it's incredibly flexible and you can do what you want. I mentioned making reusable templates to save yourself time for tasks or projects that you tend to repeat. You can also create shortcuts for individual notes, for notebooks, for stacks of notes. You can create shortcuts for tags. You can create shortcuts for saved searches, and then just have those on your homepage or over here on the left where it says shortcuts. And I have one for recent notes. Okay, so what's the last thing that I pulled up with, this to-do list, or my notes for tonight's stream, or or whatever. So yeah, let me go down back to my sample note. Okay, so my stack, which is multiple notebooks together. If I click on this, and it's just going to show me all the notes that are in both stacks. And then if I can go to, that are both notebooks. And then I can go to just this one notebook, which is our new one of Grace's Fun Things with a to-do list. Or I can go to my sample notebook and have all the things. So yeah, I can take a photo, and then I can be like, oh, this is pretty cool. You know what? I actually think I need a character to fall out of a window. You know what? I think he's going to fall out of these windows. He's going to hit this window, and he's going to bounce off this railing, and here we go. Okay, so this is how writers work. And yes, you can drop a Word doc in there. Let me hop back to a demo of that, I think. Okay, I don't have one with a Word doc specifically, but here's another file that you just drag it, literally drag and drop, and it will show up in your file. Let me see if I can grab something quickly to do that. Don't mind me, hold on. Here we go. I'm going to put it right there. So now there's a Word doc. These are review excerpts. Now I've put them in here with Baby Penny. So, so yeah, and then if I just want to open that, it is showing for you guys. Great. So I can open it, and it's not going to show you that Word is open because OBS is only following the one window. But now I have Word open with that document. So yeah, it's really, really handy. And again, rather than trying to remember, if you're the kind of person who's like, well, I saved Word docs here, and if I saved Excel sheets here, and if I saved my photos here, and I saved my PDFs here, but I want them all together. No, just put them all in the same note. Now I have all my research stuff together in one place. So that's a good way to do it. So things that, like I said, features that I absolutely live by. The searchable notes, the searchable images are huge. I take so many photos of interpretive signs, like here's an archaeological find, and this is who found it, and this is what year, and this is what we think it is, and I'll be like, great, snap that photo. It goes into Evernote, and then later I've got it, and I know where I was when I took it. You can also geotag these things, so you can say, show me all the notes. Show me all the notes that I added at the British Museum. And it will be like, boom, here's 9,000 interpretive signs that you photographed at the British Museum. If you are on a paid tier, all your PDFs are searchable as well. So again, any cognition studies, any drug studies, anything that I have, I've got financial papers that I've saved in a PDF, whatever. I can drop this in here. That becomes searchable. If you're using a paid tier. You can encrypt stuff, since I just mentioned financial papers. I can encrypt notes, or I can encrypt text within notes. So if I'm panicky about things, I can make sure that my financial data or my ID stuff is encrypted. Is there color coding? I don't know, because I honestly don't think that way, and I've never wondered. You do have a lot of color options up here within notes. Do I know? Can I color code a notebook? I'm gonna say I don't know about it, but it wouldn't surprise me if it existed. It's just not something that I've ever looked for. I don't know, but Evernote's support page with a zillion tutorials will probably have the answer to that. Sorry, I was not prepared for that question. Yeah, so anyway, so I wanted to give kind of an overview, which I feel I've done, and then if you guys have specific use questions, I would love to answer those, or we could create something together, whatever would be most useful to you. So I'm going to grab a drink while you decide what you want to do and put questions in the chat. So here, I have research that is specific to individual projects that just doesn't, and then I don't know where this will go, but someday it will be cool. It goes in my miscellaneous research folder. And then when I need it to go into a specific thing, I just move it to that folder. Or I could tag it with that project if I were, doing a tag-focused system. Lots and lots and lots of options. I have lots of, I have here a notebook that's just plot prompts, and it's just weird things that cross my feed, and I'm like, yeah, I want that. Okay, I want that. Okay, this was a really cool video that somebody had done some amazing animation on. I have what some things are. As I've got, interesting articles and things tucked in here. So yeah, just, you can do so many things with this. And it's really quite roomy. Like, you don't have a storage cap, you have a cap on how much you can upload per month, and that varies by tier. So I think where I am, I can upload 10 gig of material every month. Obviously, I don't get anywhere close to tapping that out. And that is not the highest tier. I think that is the lowest tier of, other than the free tier, which is much less. So this list of notebooks, always alphabetical. I keep it alphabetical. Let me see, can I sort it in another way? I can sort by date created, date updated, or title. So if I want to, let me see if I can do like, what are my most recent notebooks? Here we go. Or when did I last make them, or that sort of thing. So. But yeah, so it's, oh, sorry, I'm going to jump back and catch the chat. Oh, wow, Joe, found your email was already in use. You reset your password and found a novel you wrote in 2012 saved out there. Like, hey, good job, Evernote, keeping everything for you very, very safe. Yeah, and in answer to Kyle's question, let's try this. So Kyle's asking if it will grab stuff out of a photo of like a regular book cover or something. So give me a second to get Evernote up on my phone. All right, so we're loading. 1 second, please. So there is a little button on the app. I'm going to click that button, and it will bring up like a variety of note types. I think I said there are like 9 different note types or something that you can have. I've just got 5 pulled up here. But I'm going to click the one that says camera. And this is awesome because this doesn't just take photos. This will also like scan things. Like, I use this to scan documents all the time. I'm going to stop trying to scan my chair right here. Give me 1 second. All right, let me take a photo here. Okay. All right, and I'm gonna just call this, I don't have to name the note, but you know what, I'm not gonna name the note because let's just make sure that it's only grabbing the thing. So here's a snapshot of a book. I just took this photo. It's actually not a great photo because I took it in the dark with my left hand, so really not that awesome. So we're gonna plug my phone back in over here. Give me 1 second, sorry. Oh, what'd I do? Oh, okay. All right. And so you have a default notebook. I should probably mention that. When you make your account, my username is Shantita. So Shantita's notebook is my default notebook. Look, it's already synced. Okay, so that just came over from my phone right there. Well, let's say I didn't know that yet. And so I'm just going to search for crown. Now, I don't know if it's had, usually it takes a little time to parse, the visuals, right? Like it's not instantaneous. It does have to think. But let me see if I can get that. No, it doesn't have that one yet. That's fine. Don't look at those. Those are spoilers. Okay. So the answer is, after it's been in there for probably more than 15 seconds, that book title will be searchable. But it's going to need more than the 15 seconds it's had. So yeah, anyway, we can maybe come back to that later if I think of it. So, but yeah, does that answer your question? Hopefully. That's the thing. So, okay. Yeah. Checking my notes to see was there anything else that I wanted to tell you. That's most of it, I think. So, yeah, but just the kind of thing, can the same thing be in multiple notebooks? Absolutely, and I will show you an example. Let's come over here and look for the goddess Sulis, who's going to appear on this interpretive sign that I took in Bath in England in like early 2000s. I don't remember what year. And this, you will see this photo appears 3 times. Now, this is because I'm putting things in individual notebooks. If I were using a tag system, I could just have one note and then put multiple tags on it, and it would be searchable under multiple projects that way. But I did it in separate notebooks, just because that's the way that I tend to do things. You guys can do what you want. But yeah, so this actually was a huge plot prompt for me. This went into the Shard of Elan series. But I was just like, oh, I need this. So I knew that this was one that was in multiple notebooks. So, okay. You can't get the video to play anymore. I don't know, is that Twitch that you can't get to play, Grace? I'm sorry. Grace, yes, it does have optical character recognition. It is very nice that way. So let me see. I'm trying to think of something to pull up here. Everything I'm coming up with is like something that could be political. Hold on. Let me say cognition. That's not very political. So everything that is like cognition is going to be somewhere in this PDF. And so it's going to grab those kinds of things. So here is a article that I clipped from the web. That's going to be coming in and just searching the text, but the PDF is going to be turning that PDF into. It's going to be reading off that PDF. But yes, if, that sign that I just showed the photo of. That's just using OCR because that's a JPEG, and it's just searching for text in that JPEG and finding it. So I don't think that was the clearest way to say that, but hopefully it gets you the answer that you want, which is yes. So, okay. Yeah, so there's that photo again. Are there any other questions, or we are pretty close to time for tonight? So glad you found the old novel, Joe. That's going to be great. Kyle says you need this for your college textbook. Oh my gosh, let me tell you here. Let me go over and drop down. Where is it? Trading and behavior over here on the left. So I'm going to open down. This is the stack, and then these are all the notebooks that are in the stack. As you can see here, I have a lot of years of Clicker Expo in this notebook stack. I just make every Clicker Expo year a single notebook, and I put both expos. There are 2 per year in that year notebook. And then if I open this up, let's go with 2020. Let's go with 2019 was like the last year that we had a full live one. So I've got my pack list. I've got presentation notes and things that from me, and then I've got things. These are all the notes that I'm taking from events, from sessions at this event. And let's see where I've got one here. I just drop, the notes. Find a good example here. Okay, none of the ones I'm grabbing have this. Hold on, I know I have these. Here we go. Where I just take their PDFs of the, either if they've given out handouts, or there are slides, the slide decks that are provided as PDFs, and I just drop those directly into those notebooks as well. So now I have searchable slide decks from a presentation. Great. Yeah. So. Okay. So yeah, I hope that answers that, where you've got, I've got, here I've got Michelle Pulio, teaching something about platforms or in this case, it's leash management or something. And so I can just, if I wanted to be like, oh gosh, what was the thing that Lindsay Wood said about resource guarding? I could just type in Lindsay Wood or type in resource guarding, and I'd pull up her complete presentation slide deck from, 4 years of presentations. So yeah, it's real awesomely handy. So, okay. Well, are there any remaining questions? Joe says it could use the serious rewrite. Yeah, that I pulled out an older novel earlier this year, and I have put that project aside again. I may come back to it in the future. It's not happening right now. So, okay. Are there any other questions related to Evernote? Was this useful? Does anybody think they're going to give it a whirl? Again, try it with the free version, and then if you're like, okay, yeah, this could go, upgrade when you need it. And just if you chose to upgrade, do it during the 40% off sale. That's my recommendation. So. Okay. Well, I don't know if Elena is streaming tonight. I think she is. So we should probably, let me check over there and see what that's going on. What is this? What is this button? Oh, never mind. I don't want that. Okay. Don't know what that did. Okay. Sorry, guys. Got distracted when I jumped over to my what do you call the thing? Stream Manager panel, and it was throwing all the things at me. So, okay. Elena is here, and she will be streaming at 8. So we have 8 minutes left to ask questions. That's what I was trying to check on, was where Elena was. So, where is a good place to start? Honestly, you can't really screw this up. Like, anything you do is going to be fine as long as you just keep going with it. That said, frequently I give people advice when you're starting, anything that's new. Do not start with the critical, this is on deadline, this is the most important career make or break thing of my life. Like, no, start with something where you can give yourself latitude to play with it. Okay, so if you start by saving some funny memes and put them in a humor category so that you have them for later, great. Because if you screw that up, whatever screw that up means, there's no pressure, right? But then if you maybe used 2 different tags instead of putting stuff under the same tag for the book launch that you're doing on Friday, that's going to be a little bit more critical. So just start playing with things. I would say if you have major categories that like I'm going to have, let me hop back to what I can see here. Like you can see in my notebooks, things I have, stuff for cosplay, I have recipes, I have things that are related to different hobbies that I'm doing, I have things that are related to stuff I was teaching. I've got a whole huge stack full of things that have to do with behavior and cognition, all kinds of stuff. So you just kind of start playing with major categories. I have stuff that's household. Okay, that's going to be where I put, guys, when you get something and it comes with a warranty and then it breaks 8 months later and you have no idea where that stupid warranty slip is, now you do, because it's in Evernote. Because every time something comes into my house, I use the Evernote, camera app in the app. I grab a snapshot of it, and then I check I recycle whatever the paperwork was, and I've got it all in Evernote. So that let me see if I can find a useful thing. So, manuals. All those manuals that you don't want to keep, okay, they're all in Evernote for you now, right? All your warranties are in Evernote, all of this stuff, so that anything that you want to, be able to access later, I don't have to dig through the junk drawer. I don't have to hope I saved that manual or the warranty or whatever. It's all in Evernote. So you just have one notebook that's full of house stuff. You have one notebook that's full of maybe writing projects. You have one notebook that's full of, I don't know, travel plans, because we like to torture ourselves here during the pandemic. So things I would like to visit someday. And you just keep, adding stuff as it becomes logical to make a new category for it. And then just play with it and decide, play around and find out, are you a person who does better with putting stuff into individual notebooks? Or are you a person who does better with making a tag system? And just play with it. And you're not going to break it. You're really not. And so I don't know, does that give you some ideas to get started? I would say pick some stuff to play around with. Start with recipes. Everybody likes food. Okay, so if you don't like making food, you probably still like eating on some level. So then, put in, these are the dishes that I want to try at the local restaurant that's opening, and just have a thing. Again, start with stuff that you're not going to be upset about if it's not perfect. That's just a good rule of thumb for any new thing that you're trying. So yeah. Yeah, places I would like to visit. We'll settle for anywhere at this point. Yes. And I know this is the biggest of hashtag first world problems, but yesterday I canceled my trip to Japan that was supposed to take place in 2020 and got pushed back to 2021, and now is officially pushed back to the end of 2022 and holding. So yeah, I feel that right now because, darn it, been doing everything right. Yeah. So, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to still be doing research, gathering, ideas, making plans, all of those kinds of things. And then having it, convenient. I as you can see, I have a travel folder, and that's sometimes some of that's places I want to go. Some of that's research about places that I'm going to go for real, honest someday. And, or important information like, these are the checklists. Okay, guys, I am that travel person. So like we're going to be traveling internationally. These are the 18 pieces of documentation that we will have to have. Here is where to get, I'm a really good travel organizer. That is a skill that I have. And so all of that goes into Evernote, and I've got, pack lists that include all the documentation, the visas, the digital visas, all of this stuff gets done. And that's all in Evernote. So then I can look easily at my checklist and know exactly where I am. And two, when I travel again, I can just copy that note and do it again. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. And then three, this person's going to travel with me. Great. Here's my checklist that's helpful for you, right? So all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. First world problem, no, it does stink. Yeah, thank you. Fingers crossed it comes together. Thank you. Yeah, we're hoping. That was in the category of things I am researching before I go. I was supposed to go hiking with two friends, another friend from the States, and then a friend who lives in Tokyo, and we were all meeting up to spend a week hiking the Kumano Kodo, which is the historic trail up and down. It goes to a lot of shrines and a lot of other. It's a very important old road. If you're familiar with the oh my gosh, total mind blank. Santiago. What is the Camino? The Camino. Sorry, total mind blank. In northern Spain, which is a World Heritage trail. The only other World Heritage site that is a pilgrimage trail is the Kumano Kodo. So, so sorry, I just had a complete brain wipe there. Anyway, that's something that I want to do a ton of reading on before I go, so I can be even more appreciative while I'm there. So all of that information, I'm going to gather together and just squirrel it away in Evernote, where it is all now searchable. So, okay. So we are going to hop over and visit Elena. Thank you guys for making out with me today. And if you have questions on this, hey, I'm here. You can ask. Next week, as I said, is going to be the cover reel. So sorry if you see any of my social media, there will be covers. Just brace yourself. And here on the stream next week. And next week is a craft week. So, and actually, I don't know if I've announced a topic for that yet. Which means if you have a particular craft topic that you are burning to hear, let me know. And there's a good chance I will do that because I don't think I've announced a topic for next week yet. And then next week also from Wednesday on is Gen Con. So I will be having my first ever author table at Gen Con. And then I'll let you know how that went the week after that. So, okay. That is... Sorry, I can't type and talk at the same time. So I really need to get better at typing and speaking at the same time. Anyway, that is it for the week, and I will see you guys next week. Everybody take care. Have a fantastic week. Be excellent to each other. Do good things, and I will see you. All right. Our raid call is Everything is Connected.